The Army's new rocket center is established at Huntsville, Alabama. This is where the German rocket caravan moves in 1950. Wernher von Braun heads the Army's rocket development team. Von Braun is back in his element. A new rocket.
3, 2, 1, blast!
The roar of the engines is music to the ears of the German rocketeer.
It was the first time we'd been given a project we could really get our teeth into, the first time we were given a real challenge. That was one of the ways life really improved when we came here to Huntsville.
Das war eine der großen Verbesserungen, als wir hier nach Huntsville kamen.
Von Braun is back in business, and with German thoroughness, he and his team set about building a nuclear missile for the United States. But von Braun wants to go farther than the Army. He still dreams of flying to the stars. And the Army has no objections when its top rocket developer starts parading his dreams in public. In 1952, he talks excitedly to Collier's Weekly about deep space patrols and flights to Mars. 3 years later, his first big TV appearance. The show is called Man in Space, and the now perfectly Anglophone German visionary is interviewed by Walt Disney himself.
What exactly makes an orbit?
Von Braun surprises the audience with a gigantic space station designed to orbit the Earth at an altitude of 1,700 kilometers and travel at a speed of 25,000 kilometers an hour. Powerful 3-stage rockets will transport the various parts of the station into space, where they will be assembled by astronauts. A bold vision indeed in the early 1950s. Suddenly, everyone is talking about von Braun. He's now a celebrity, and he copes well.
He was like a rock star.
He was the darling of the press, as far as we were concerned. The press loved an interview with von Braun.
But von Braun is not so welcome everywhere, and even in Huntsville, not everyone feels well disposed towards him. But in 1955, the resentment seems purged. Von Braun and his rocket team have unleashed a veritable wave of rocket fever. Americans are now proud of von Braun, especially in Huntsville, Rocket City. March 1955, Wernher von Braun and his Peenemünde specialists become U.S. citizens. The American newsreels comment, Germany is lost, his Uncle Sam's gain.
A mass naturalization after a decade devoted to keeping...
Von Braun, the new model American. Some say he's more American than the Americans themselves.
He reminded us that he wanted to be called Wernher von Braun, not Wernher von Braun, and we were reminded. But I would say he's a very Americanized guy. Although he drove a nice Mercedes and liked other things that were made in Germany, he was, I think, by far, of all the Germans that I have met, he was by far the more Americanized.
In the mid-1950s, visions of space travel come increasingly into public focus. The conquest of space in a Soviet science fiction movie. Made in 1956, it presents a vision astonishingly similar to the one described by von Braun in Collier's Weekly and the TV show with Walt Disney a few years earlier. Giant ring-shaped space stations float through outer space, manned by scientists and researchers, not a uniform in sight, peaceful expeditions through eternity. The Soviets also act through the stages of a possible moon landing, something von Braun had also described in detail. And even the Russian sci-fi landing craft bears a striking resemblance to the lunar module postulated by von Braun. Dream images. Von Braun continues to work exclusively on rockets for the Army. No one else has the kind of money it takes to fund rocket development. If he wants to go farther, he needs to win his employers over to the idea of a space program. He offers them a space station as a nuclear weapons platform. Von Braun's ambition is to reach outer space, and he doesn't really care who foots the bill. He wants to be the first. He wants the triumph for himself and for America. But he needs the okay of Eisenhower. The decision in Washington goes against the ambitious German-American. The rival US Navy gets Eisenhower's approval for the prestigious project. A bitter defeat. And rumors circulate that it's because Wernher von Braun is a German.
The best I can offer you is, it is said that President Eisenhower did not want a military rocket to launch the first satellite.
He didn't suffer many defeats. He was disappointed when the contract to launch the first satellite went to the other side, but he knew it wouldn't be easy for them to accomplish, and said, maybe we'll get a second chance. Let's make sure we're in a position to step in if necessary.
The 4th of October 1957. While the Army and Navy are jockeying for position in America, a crucial countdown starts at Baikonur in Kazakhstan. It's the Soviet Union, not the USA, that puts the first satellite into orbit. The Cold War enemy succeeds in doing what von Braun has dreamt of since 1925. Sputnik is a sensation. The world is taken aback. No one thought the Soviets capable of this.
Dr. von Braun personally was very shocked. Everybody mumbled a little bit. Yeah, it was a shock. It was a shock to von Braun. It was a shock to all of us.
4 weeks after the Sputnik shock, von Braun in Huntsville gets a message from Washington that restores his spirits. Eisenhower has agreed to let the Army prepare a satellite launch alongside the Navy program.
And we will use the Jupiter C configuration as a carrier.
General Madaris sounds confident.
I promised the Secretary of the Army that we would be ready in 90 days or less. Let's go, Werner.
But von Braun's rivals at the Naval Research Laboratory get the first shot. On the 6th of December 1957, the Navy's Vanguard rocket lifts off to restore the honor of the USA, only to crash back onto the pad and explode. The next shock, a disaster for America, but a new chance for Wernher von Braun.
14 days after the Vanguard fiasco, when future of the whole program looked shaky, instructions came from Washington telling us to roll out our vehicle and launch the first satellite.
Von Braun is well prepared. His Redstone rocket is quickly modified for space. He never abandoned his satellite plans. Despite Eisenhower's rebuff, he waited for his chance. Now he's got it, and he's determined not to waste it. The 31st of January 1958. A crucial countdown for Wernher von Braun's career. 4 months after Sputnik 1, his modified Redstone rocket lifts off for space. The whole of Huntsville turns out to applaud its space celebrity, Wernher von Braun, who revels in the cavalcade with his 2 daughters.
Now, the reaction in Huntsville was wild. People came out of the house, hollered and yelled. I think there was, generally speaking, there was some relief that, well, we weren't too far behind.
Wernher von Braun, the Missile Man, an American national hero.